I want to talk about the growth you've experienced within the different companies you've been at. And then we'll also touch on it at T1 as well. We can put it into whatever context you want. Question I always ask my guests anytime they've seen significant growth within a company is, how do you go about doing it? Like if someone were to say to you, hey Nithya, I really want to move up in my company. I don't want to go elsewhere. I like what I'm doing. I see myself here for like 5 to 7 years, but I don't want to be doing the exact same thing. How do I position myself for promotion? Like what would be the first step?
Ooh, great question. So a lot of times with the folks that I manage, I usually do like a gap analysis with them. So I say, okay, what's your role right now? And I pull it down to like job descriptions or advancement guidelines or something like that. Like, what's the job description you have now? What's the job description you're looking for? Right? Where's the gap? And I'll usually get them to list out like 3 to 5 examples of every single thing that they've done. Because essentially what I'm trying to tell them is let's build the business case to get you there. It's also a very humbling exercise for the person that wants to grow because oftentimes they might think they're further ahead than they are. So by doing that gap analysis, I'll be like, give me 3 to 5 examples of each one of these bullet points. They can do that. I'm like, oh gosh, we should work on getting you promoted right away. Or, okay, let's find the opportunities where you can demonstrate that, excel that, practice that, learn that to get to the next level. So that's kind of a tried and trusted tool that I usually use to help people kind of map out what that career progression looks like. By doing that analysis, we can also figure out, okay, is this a 2 month thing? Is this a 2 year thing to get there? Right. So it's usually one of my tools that I pull out in order to do that. The two other pieces that I really, tools, I guess, that I use are one, how do you cultivate a growth mindset? Because it's not also just like checking a box on a project. It's also that mindset of finding those opportunities in the micro moments and that conversation with a colleague or a client to how do I get staffed on a larger project where I can demonstrate
Mm.
this? So I think that growth mindset is important. It also takes you out of yourself. It's not just about you growing, because then if you understand if my team grows, if my client grows, if my agency grows, then I have more opportunity for growth as well. So I find cultivating that growth mindset a really good way to catalyze that kind of upward progression or progression within an organization. And then the third one that I do a lot, and it's a tool, is coming up with your professional story. If you wanted to, and it could be as simple as rewriting your bio. It could be as, simple as like, what do I want my LinkedIn profile to be? It could be as a manifestation of where you want to go, but it's writing it within your own voice of how do you want people to talk about you? Right. And it's not today, maybe it's in the 2 months or the 2 year period, but what do you want that to be? What is that writing exercise that you can do that kind of envisions where you want to be, right? And that's everything from adjectives about your personality, that could be about how you approach the work itself. It could be on the types of clients that you write, but or work on, but it's not meant to be like a resume or a capture of the resume. It's more meant to be of how do you want to be seen as a leader? Because especially if you're trying to go up in an organization, it's usually in a leadership role. How do you want to be seen as a leader? How do you want that approach to be recognized as well? So that exercise is something that I often do as well with folks that I manage.
Nithya, I asked this question to a number of people, and that is single-handedly the most thorough answer I have ever received. Like this section right here is going to get its own cut down onto YouTube. And anytime someone's just kind of like, "How do I get a promotion?" I'm sending them the link to it. I'm like, just watch this.
Can you tell I'm
Okay.
a strategist that literally thinks in PowerPoint slides? Because I'm like, here's
Oh,
a reset plan for.